Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview, this time covering the LTA North Split 2 season. My guest at this time is CoreJJ of Team Liquid coming off of their match against 100 Thieves, where they came out on the winning end, that's continuing their season in set competition. So, Core, thank you so much for the opportunity for this quick interview. I mean, it was a pretty rough start to this week with your loss to FlyQuest, but you guys were able to come back and take down 100 Thieves, another one of the strongest teams in this league. And so, how are you feeling? What's going through your mind? And how was the match that you just finished up?
Um, the game didn't go well from the early game. We had a really tragedy early game. But it ends up um, eventually our comp was better, and we played through our win condition eventually. So we end up in.
No, for sure. I mean, definitely a much better showing compared to yesterday, as I said. And obviously, like you guys had to start off the season with a pretty tough challenge in FlyQuest. And obviously, I want to ask you just sort of like, what do you feel just was the biggest issues behind that match that led to the loss? And also, what do you feel was the well, more so what how has the team or how did the team move on from yesterday to today?
Um, well, this is just like week one. So the most important thing is like if we are improving or not, if we setting up for the future. Um, but our preparation was not that good yesterday. But this time it was not perfect, but at least we know how to win our game.
Biggest takeaways for this week, like biggest lesson that you've seen out of like where this team currently stands in its level. What do you feel is the biggest takeaway, for you after finishing this first week?
Mm, even though our performance is not that high, not in like peak form, we went 1-1 against a strong team, so it's gonna be better now.
For sure, and hopefully the things continue to get better for this team in the ensuing weeks. And obviously, like you guys had to go through a pretty, I would say, tough schedule from the end of this first split of this year. Finishing that, moving on over to first stand, competing there in Korea, and then fly back home to Los Angeles and get ready for this season. Still looking first over into the recent international that happened. Given that the team wasn't able to move on to the playoffs, what what do you feel? How do you kind of look back on the experience on that competition, and what does that tell you about where this team currently stands against the rest of the other teams in that competition?
Um, can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, I understand it was pretty long. So, how do you kind of look back on your experience in first stand with the team and their performance? Much shorter.
Our first round, we had a good game, fairly good game for the first game, and that was it. We didn't show up from then, and there was a no like not enough practice time, so we couldn't solve our problems, and it continued.
Mhm. You just sort of like it felt like you had no time to just sort of like do anything besides just play the game, right? It kind of feels like that.
Mhm. Yeah, we were there. Like it was really tight schedule, and we wanted to practice a lot, but we didn't even have enough time.
Mhm. And and with having to move on from that to this competition, and also in addition to like sort of like changes to the format to the schedule of this year, with the continuation of Fearless, how has the team been moving on from first and or more so preparing for the LTA and just having to like look at the challenge ahead and trying to maintain its spot in the league?
Um, from first hand, we try to get back to our form, and we try to scream triple block most games, most days. Yeah, and we just try to go back to the original identity that we're gonna try harder than any other team.
Mhm. Um, how do you kind of look at, or more so, given that this team has been has remained together for another year, starting out with 2025, how do you kind of compare where this team is currently at in this year and where the team kind of was at this same point last year? And so, how do you kind of compare both teams, both versions of the teams in different years?
Um, I think we are kind of similar. I don't think we changed it a lot, while the other team were improved a lot. Um, so what I want to do is like I want to improve this year a lot so that we will be good next year. This year.
Mm. As you guys now continue to compete in this regular season, obviously like the main goal is to maintain your spot at the top while also like stopping the other teams to get your title. And so, on it for the future, what do you feel the team has to emphasize or more so focus on the most when it comes to this title defense? What do you feel the team has to focus on more than any other aspect in the game for these next upcoming weeks in the season?
I think champion pool is very important. How right now in the meta draft is very very important. So I think we should make sure our champion pool is good enough to draft.
Mhm. So as of now, it kind of feels like the team is not really comfortable yet with like where you guys are at in terms of like champion pool with the fearless and stuff.
Yeah, since like actually Fearless is coming out, but since we are practicing, we will be good, but we just need time.
Okay. And you mentioned a little bit about the identity about the team. You kind of mentioned a little bit about that earlier on in the conversation, so I want to ask you much more, focusing onto that part. Where would you like the identity of Team Liquid to be at for this year? What do you feel? What do you feel is the goal for the team in order to unlock its identity?
Um, like the team that never gives up in a late game. Eventually, we're gonna win. Yeah.
Okay. And with next week, you guys are going to be taking on the likes of Dignitas and Lion Gaming. On paper, they're not as strong as those that you've taken on this week, but nevertheless, how you can look at the road ahead, these upcoming opponents for next week.
I mean, they're actually not bad. I think this season of LTA, the lower tier team, if I remember correctly, they practiced a lot during between the split 1 and 2. So I feel like every team is actually not bad.
Mhm.
So we gotta prepare better.
Of course, and hopefully you guys are able to do that exactly that in due time. And so, Core, thank you so much for the opportunity for the interview, answering all of my questions, providing all of the insight for what's happening in your respective team. Really do appreciate that as well. And of course, best of luck goes to you for the journey ahead.
Thank you.